everyone, welcome to Bickering Book Reviews. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Becky.
And today we're talking about Odd One Out by Nic Stone. I got this from the luncheon that we went to at BEA. Best luncheon ever!
It was.
Did you get an e-copy or anything
there
like
were
that?
no e-copies to be had. And
I didn't want an e-copy.
The font was small. But she was wonderful. Like, we got to meet her, and she was so just like the what she talked about and how passionate she is about her writing. It was very impressive.
Well, Dear Martin was like my favorite book of last year. Like,
that was
ultimate,
a great book,
hands down. Okay, so this book is about Coop, Ray, and Jupiter. So they're three kind of friends. Coop and Jupiter have been friends for years, and they're like super close, like staying over each other's houses, kind of sitting in each other's laps, watching movies all the time, you know, besties for life. Jupiter is a lesbian. I mean, she's been out for years. Like, basically there was no closet to contain her. But Courtney Cooper, was absolutely in love with her. Knows it'll never work out because she's lesbian and she likes girls. But he just can't help himself. And then new girl moves to town, Ray, and basically she's kind of questioning her own sexuality, finds attraction to both Coop and Jupiter. Jupiter kind of finds himself liking Ray back, but Jupiter also finds herself liking Ray. So it's this very kind of every wires crossed romance, and everybody's kind of addressing their own kind of sexual identities, even though maybe they have assigned labels to themselves. Perhaps they don't fit anymore. And things get really messy when relationships start to develop and, you know, maybe some people like Jupiter finding that they might have more feelings for someone like Cooper, perhaps. So it's kind of that exploration of identities, I think.
So, and you hit on... I had a hard time with this book because I both liked it, but I also found the first 100 pages really, really slow. But you hit on the thing that I liked about this book is I feel like she talks a lot about labels, and she talks a lot about how dangerous self-imposed labels are. And I thought that was like an incredibly strong message because Jupiter even talks about that she kind of labeled herself before she maybe even understood what that label meant.
See, but I think it was super important. So the book was told in 3 different parts. The first part was from Coop's perspective, the second part was from Ray's perspective, and the last part was from Jupiter's perspective. And I thought it was very important that she explored both Coop and Ray before she got to Jupiter, because if this was just a book about Jupiter exploring kind of her own lesbian label, this would not sit well with me. It would not sit well in kind of that LGBT context. But everybody is kind of looking at their own labeling. I mean, Ray is finding that she may not be completely heterosexual. She finds that she might be on the spectrum. And I think it's important that everybody's looking at it and that it's not, it doesn't turn into, you know, the guy like turning Jupiter back. You know what I mean? And I think Stone made an important point about that, and it didn't become that. But it was super important that she kind of framed it the way that she did.
I think so. And like I said, I really didn't get into it, though, until about halfway through Ray's narrative. The first, 100 pages was really hard for me. But there was also a part that I think that people are going to really overlook. But there's this idea in this, because of the fact that Coop's father has passed away and that Jupiter's being raised by 2 men, by her 2 fathers, that they kind of merge together into this family unit. And it's a different kind of family unit, and they're in 2 separate houses. But it's like this deeply loving family unit and supportive family unit. And there's this idea of you can create your own family and what does a family definition needs to be. And I thought that was beautifully done. That to me was like the 2 big takeaways for me was how dangerous the labels are, and particularly self-imposed labels, and how you can change your self-imposed labels, and this idea that you create your family. Those to me are what, and that was about a third halfway through the book that those ideas started to come, and that's the part that won me over. The idea of just this love story between the 3 of them never really hooked me.
Yeah, I mean, because it wasn't about that. I think it was unique in the idea of labeling. And I think it was important to kind of create this space where, like, even though you come out as whatever, it's okay to kind of grow and be different. Like, we don't stay the same throughout our entire life, and it's okay to question kind of who you see yourself as. And I can appreciate that. The thing that was hard for me, though, is this cover was very reminiscent of Dear Martin. And this book is completely different than Dear Martin.
It's
so
very different.
It required a very strong shift. However, I love her writing style. I loved it. But I think that my issue really is they need to change that cover. Because I think that they're drawing these parallels that do not exist.
And I don't think they did. I think that the
cover uses the same kind of color scheme. The cover needs to look different. Because there aren't parallels between those two books, but visually seeing them the way that it is, you would think that perhaps it's in a series, perhaps there's some relation between the two, and there isn't. And I think that they just need to redesign the cover.
So we should rate it.
Okay. Our rating scale goes from 5 unicorns down to 2 unicorns. And if we didn't like it, it's not magical, doesn't get a horn, and is therefore a horse. Where are you?
I'm at a 3. Like I said, the first 100 pages were a hard go for me, but then I got into it.
See, and I'm at a 4 because I think this book is super important, and I think that it's super important for teens who are dealing with their own kind of sexual identity issues, and I can certainly see myself giving this to a teen to read. I enjoy it, and I enjoy her writing, and I'm going to continue to read them.
Oh yeah,
read her books.
So that's where we're at. Yep, that's where we are on Odd One Out by Nic Stone. See you around.
First, I thought you said I want out.
Odd one out.
Odd one out.
Odd one out.
See you around.
Bye.